Good evening and welcome to tonight's show from DJ and TV, Disc Jockey News TV. Tonight's show is brought to you by Electra Voice, DJ Event Planner, DJ Trivia, Odyssey Innovative Designs and Cases, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, and the DJ and TV Insiders.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
It's time for Tuesday Night Live Chat with Brian S. Red and John Young. Actually, it downloaded whilst I wasn't. I had started the computer, went to the house, and everything's glitchy. Ouch. If I only had a chill room where I could relax.
Because that's what's missing from every freaking conference.
Chill room.
Good evening and welcome to our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday night. That means it's time to talk of intelligent things with Brian and Jay. And tonight's topic.
Good credit.
Tonight's topic is the chill room. We're going to kind of a flashback to last week. We were all in Las Vegas doing great things, or at least we felt we were doing great things.
We tried.
We tried to have some fun. The two gentlemen with me tonight were the the hosts. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. The hosts of the chill room. Hey, there we go. Thank you, Jay.
We're back in the chill room.
That is it right there. What you're looking at right now is some of the Ape Lab. Now, those were the cans there, weren't they, Brian?
Yeah, those were the cans. We kind of went in there and designed things on, I guess, Monday morning. Just collectively, Jay, Stevie, and I were just kind of figuring out where things went and came up with, I thought, a pretty interesting scheme for them.
It was awesome.
They showed nice.
Yeah, it looked good. It looked really good.
That was just part of the room. There were a lot of other things going on there, but it worked out pretty well. It was, I will say this at the top of the show. This was the busiest show I've ever attended for me personally. I had more responsibility and more time constraints on this particular show than I've ever had at any show that I've ever attended.
You're welcome.
Jay, he does this every time. I mean, every time he's like anywhere, he's like locked into a booth and he has to do these things. Me, I'm not used to that. I'm usually a floater, but I didn't float much.
Yeah, I'm good staying in one place. That's my training.
He's good. This is your box. Stay in the box.
Yeah.
Jay boot camp.
Yeah.
It was cool though. It was cool.
Stay there.
It
looked, and I've got to be, because if I don't say this, I'll be remiss. I've got to give Brian an amazing amount of credit. And I said this to him several times. The thing about the A-Lab lights that blew me away was you can see his video, you can see pictures, you can see other videos, but until you see them respond to the music in person, you don't really get what this whole music setting is. And we were constant. I mean, every time somebody walked in that room, what are those? What's this? Whoa.
They were checking it out from the hallway.
Yeah.
They were walking past and they'd see, whoa, what's that? And they'd come in and they'd have questions.
Yeah. They looked great. They really did, Brian. You did an awesome job setting that stuff up.
Well, you all helped and I appreciate it. What happened with Jay was, because he's finally had a little sip of the Kool-Aid. We were talking after our last broadcast that we did together. John had signed off. I was talking to Jay and he's like, yeah, the lights, whatever. I said, no, you don't understand. He's like, add the lights. I'm like, no, watch this. So I set him up along the wall and I did like demonstrations on Zoom for him. He's like, oh my God, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
So Jay has been just
Light show in about 30 seconds.
yeah, there's nothing to
Then
it.
he's like,
And
oh, do you want me to do all the lights? Oh, here, I'll make everything white. Oh, wait, I'll make just the par cans blue. Then I'll make the cans yellow. And then I'll make the bars this. And I'm like, I mean, it really does. If you want to do a very small footprint, impressive light show that's not going to break your back, because I have 20 Freedom bars and I can tell you how heavy they are in the cases.
Yes.
And there's a lot of weight there. You could hide these. If you've got if you want to hear, this is my tip for the night. If you have a retailer in your market, Victoria's Secret style, something in a mall, you go in with 6 of those cans and set them up on certain displays. And now you're selling your DJ service and your architectural lighting service, because they're small enough to hide.
Yeah.
Where they're going to look amazing lighting up anything on a wall, on a ceiling. Yeah, they really, really impressed me. And I'm not just saying that. I was blown away day one.
it was enhanced the room. I mean, what I was impressed by really was going in. For some reason, I couldn't wrap my head around what a 30 by 40 space looked like. And I was like, man, I don't know if I got the arsenal for this, because I stepped in last minute on this, just so we can talk about this now because it's happened.
Right.
So the guy who was running things here in the States left abruptly, quit. And John was like, oh no, we were going to have Ape in the chill room. I'm like, well, let me see what I can do. So I contacted Germany and they're like, oh yeah, we're on board. So we worked that out. But logistically, what wasn't worked out was where the lights were going to come from.
Sure.
So I stepped up and I said, look, let's make it happen. I'll just put it in my luggage. I'll bring what I have, which isn't a lot, but I'll bring what I have and we'll see what we can do with it. And in my mind, I'm thinking about, you're going to look down this long space and you're going to see a couple lights. And then way over here, there might be a couple of lights. Because for some reason, under pressure, I couldn't figure out what a 30 by 40 room looked like with 12-foot ceilings. But we more than filled the room.
Oh, yeah. It looked beautiful.
Yeah. They look awesome.
And they all fit into 2 of my suitcases with my luggage and room to spare.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to bring the tour packs, so I just brought the lights. And again, skeptical the whole time. I brought everything I had, including coins. And I brought 2 remotes. I gave one to Stevie, which I don't think she ever used. But just in case I wasn't in the room, she could show people, here's what they do. I gave her a little training on it. So, because I was envisioning I would be in and out of the room, but it didn't work that way.
And I think they're the kind of lights that, because we had music going the whole time, and I see John's in the chat room. What's up, Boston? We constantly had music, so the lights were constantly doing something.
Yeah.
And I think when you're around a product like that for 8 hours, what was the first day? 9 to 6?
Well, no, it was like, wasn't it noon to 7?
Yeah, it was about 1.
No, that was the first day. I'm sorry. The second day was 9 to 6.
Yeah.
So you're in there long enough. And I do enough shows where I see patterns. So after a while, you catch a pattern. You're like, oh, okay, now it's going to go red. Watch. How'd you know? It's like, because I've seen it do this 600 times in 30 minutes. That was the thing that kind of, I think, caught people off guard. Because guys would come in and say hi to us. They'd chill out. Ken Heath would go to sleep, whatever.
He wasn't the only one.
He did. Well, no, there was that dude in the back, remember? That had to
right.
And I could never nail a pattern. They genuinely were like messing it all up. And I'm like, man, I keep looking for, oh, this is where they go. No, they didn't go blue. Wait, how come only one's lit? Oh, wait, now they're all lit? Like, yeah, I'm really captivated with those lights. I'm really surprised. But I think the turnout in the room, in my take, just amazing. Just a great, Disc Jockey News TV obviously is getting the message out there with quality programming, with great DJs, with great content. And it shows when people come in and are really grateful and happy. And I, no more than anyone else, love being around people that are like-minded. Mm-hmm. I want to be around other DJs. I love these shows. I really, really do. I love being in a room with people that do what I do for a living, and I get that feeling and that burst of energy off them when they say, hey, I do this, and I can go home with it. I got to see the Ape Lab lights and, go home with that knowledge. The closing show, great time. Monday night, Mike Farino, bringing the video 80s set, great time. I mean, everything about this show was really good. And that's considering there was maybe 500 DJs and about 8,000 people. Like literally, I've never, and I think I'm only saying this because I do it all the time. That's the biggest exhibit room I've ever seen outside of NAMM.
Yeah, you know what, Jay? I was just thinking, and John, I don't know if you're agreeing with my assessment on this, but you know how like there's halls A, B, C at NAMM?
Yep.
Or those,
right.
It was like one of those halls.
Yeah, it was. Well,
Yeah.
someone said it was
Right?
80,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, when you do an expo and Mobile Beach shows like that, where you've got 25 exhibits in 10 by 10s, do the math. I mean, it's not 80,000 square feet. So it was mind blowing to see how big it was. And I've also never seen a line of people that long to get into a trade show.
No, I don't think I have
They
either.
went to the arena. And for those of you that have never been to South Point, it is a cowboy centric NASCAR hotel.
Especially this year. Yeah.
The owner of the property's son is a professional NASCAR driver.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, that's what that car was doing, sitting in the lobby when we showed up. Yeah.
It was the owner's son's car.
Oh, wow.
So they do rodeo, they do horse anything,
Mhm.
cow, bull, NASCAR. That's their sweet spot. You go around that casino, 40% of it, guys in cowboy hats and boots. I mean,
Yep.
super cool. Very nice place.
Oh, they were all really cool. Everybody was
They
cool.
have a huge arena
Yeah.
down the end. We're talking like someone said 25,000 person arena for horse events. Not like a band, but like for rodeo things. That's their thing.
Yeah.
So we're going in this huge, room or rooms connected, and then it goes into a horse arena. I mean, it was pretty amazing.
That's just part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big property. I was impressed. And I was very thankful for the magic sidewalks.
Yeah, those were good.
That's definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked up the property. It looked like it was built in 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. No, it had to have been.
I think it's earlier than that. Actually, my first time there was 2006.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah,
it was in the
I
2000s
think-
anyway. It's not that old.
John, when was the Mobile Beat there? 2006
Mobile
or 7?
Mobile Beat 2006 was the last year that Bob and Mike had it. So 2007 or
at
8.
South Point.
And no, they weren't there at South Point. I think they wrapped up. Gosh, I want to say they wrapped up at the Tropicana. And then I think
What about Stardust?
I think that the Stardust then would have been
05?
was that ahead of that, or was that one still Mike and Bob when Stardust?
Somebody had told me, and I don't remember who. It might have been
I don't
might have been
remember.
Robert. He said that something about when Mobile Beat was there, they were still under construction.
Oh, so
So it was a very new property when
They
Mobile
may
Beat
have
was
been,
there.
Brian. I worked that show, and I
Like
stayed.
like some systems weren't even in place yet. It was
That
an
could be.
incredibly new facility.
wow.
And like I said, it was somewhere in the 6-7 range.
Yeah, it would have been somewhere in that ballpark when it was.
The
The
only
rooms
property
were
that-
wonderful there too, by the way.
Yeah, they're very nice rooms. the
Yeah,
only property-
spacious.
Yeah, super nice, I thought.
Yeah.
Great price, great everything. The only shows I've seen for them was Tropicana, South Point, Stardust, Riviera. That's it.
Mhm.
That's the only MB shows I've ever gone to.
Hmm.
Even way back in the 90s, they were at Trop. Like 100 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
But
Yeah.
no, it was good. The showroom was better than I expected. I like the room size. I'd like to keep it that way. I don't want a bigger room. I like an intimate room.
Mhm.
And one thing that was real cool was there were folks like Rick Webb. He was hanging out in there just doing some work on his computer because he could.
Yeah.
It wasn't too loud. There was a round table toward the back of the room where there were people sitting there for hours, doing business. And also, DJ event planner Troy was in there. He was doing business all day on Monday back there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he had people coming in, yet the music was on, the lights were going. people were still visiting. It was really nice. It's almost like a cool guy business center with lighting and
Yeah.
sound. It's that. It's a place to sit down, have a drink, not an alcoholic beverage, but bring in your coffee or bring your beer if you want to. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was really nice, and I'm glad I came up with that idea.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
Yeah. And by the way, thanks to EV, I thought the Evolve 30s sounded amazing, and they were running.
Yeah.
And this is the thing it shows that I always look at gear with, because most of us, we turn the gear on 4:30. The wedding starts at 5. We're done at 10 or 11. And yes, people go longer, but you're talking, I had sound coming out of those speakers on Tuesday at 9 till 6.
Mhm.
Like, it never stopped. We had either a mix or playing music or something, but you get a feel for sound when it runs consistently throughout the day, because if there's a variance, you really pick it up. And
Right.
I did. I thought they sounded amazing.
Now, granted, we were running at incredibly low volumes because,
No, we were.
but that's what we wanted, and
But
it worked
don't
really
some
well
speakers
for
sound
that.
bad to you in low volumes? Like, sounding loud is loud, but when
Yeah.
you turn things down, sometimes you get that wave that goes like this and drops. I thought they sounded good when we turned them up.
No,
Even
that's
when we
that's
turned it
the
down.
characteristics of those column arrays.
Yeah, no, they sounded really good. I got to work with them in November with the Evolve 50 finally, and
Right. And it's nice, I think, John, to be able to spend time with products.
I think so.
that
Yeah.
when you go to like an expo hall, like we had there, where there were 50,000 photo booth people. I couldn't tell one from the other. I mean, good for them. A lot of people were getting some out of it. But I mean, yeah, I brought the Ape stuff. I've got the Evolve 30 M's upstairs. I haven't even played with them yet. But Jay had a player in there, and an all-in-one player. A DDJ
XDJ.
RR or
RR.
XDJ RR.
Yep.
And I remember I was looking at it, because I brought a flash drive in, but it wasn't formatted properly. I needed FAT32, and it wasn't a FAT32 flash drive. I came in, I think, the next day with a FAT32 formatted drive. I just did it. I didn't know if I could pull it off or not with the little computer I had in the room. And I thought, well, I'll play with it a little bit. I'll pop my drive in and see what it does. What a neat machine, and I wouldn't have given it a second look if it was just I was walking past it at a booth or something. There's something to be said about product in the chill lounge.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that it really showcases it well. And it wasn't like, stay away from the decks. Anybody could come up and spin. You could use the drives that were there. You could pop your own in. We
had one individual who just randomly walked up to it, looked at it, started messing with it, and proceeded to take 8 or 9 songs and not mix one into the other ever once, not even close. And we're sitting at the table, and it's just ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. And I'm like,
I told MJ he's got about 20 more seconds to scratch on that thing, and then I'm going to go over there and murder him.
yeah, no, and he was doing a good job.
He was, but I can't stand that shit.
It's those little platters. I mean, that's the system I actually use for ceremonies. And what I love is that I can record the ceremony with it. The mic sounds really good. I don't need a lot of stuff for a ceremony. I need 2 sides to play 2 tracks at the same time if one goes out or whatever. But,
I want one of these. Either that or the step up to it. One or the other. The step up to it looks like it's got 2 microphone inputs, and that looks pretty attractive.
Nice.
That looks attractive to me. But
the RX2.
The point being is, I wouldn't have paid attention to this thing at all if it hadn't have been there.
Right.
And there's something to be said for that. It's the same. I could say the same thing about the lighting, because they've been. I mean, Abe's been to trade shows, and they have a booth like everybody else, and you walk past it and you see it, and you get the demonstration. There's 50,000 other things going on around you. In this case, it was in a room. People go, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll show you." Full disclosure, I'm not a retailer. I'm not a product specialist. I'm not a distributor. I'm just a guy who has these lights. Let me show you what they can do.
Right.
So, and a lot of questions, but I was able to answer most of them pretty well, I think. And it was like, well, yeah, what about this? Or what about that? And one big question was, well, that's all well and good, but you had to program these lights. What did you have to use to do that? Like, I have to program anything.
that
We
was
just
the
do
blow
this.
up. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
thing.
Like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just push this button. That's all I did is push the button.
Isn't it one of
John,
these?
what did you
Yeah.
hear much about the chill room? Like, what were the responses you were getting? From
They were
people
saying that there was
who were so close to it?
this one crotchety guy in the chill room.
He wouldn't
who
keep his mouth
wouldn't
shut.
yeah, and poor Brian wanted to. He said, Brian says, "Can
Could that
I
have
just
been?
have a second to say something, please?" And I think we got to 1,000. We didn't
Never
get a-
shot that video, by the way. We have to do that at some point.
One of these days.
Yeah,
No, it's
the
from-
Brian
from-
doesn't talk video.
That would be interesting. I'll have to watch for that one. No, it was very, very positive. They enjoyed that feel, and I think that that kind of that cool spot to go and check email, do your thing, and that's what we were kind of wanting to have that experience. The biggest downfall, and this was just across the board with the show, is it was tough finding rooms, especially on Monday because signage wasn't up yet. The convention services didn't get the signage up until Tuesday morning. Then there were some of the signs that were supposed to be that weren't, and the chill room sign was one of those, which is unfortunate, but it was what it was. So
People found us.
yeah, some people did, and there were some people who didn't find it until like the last day type of thing. But for next, these are things that we're learning as we go and how these things all come together because they've done a nice job with the Photo Booth Expo side and they've really created something. But as you add more elements to any show, now we have to figure out how to simple signage. How arrows, where do they need to be, and how do they need to get us from room to room?
There was one weirdo thing that I was thinking about, John. You know how the expo hall is like the whole thing in front of us, They put the entrance door kind of right in front of registration. If they would have moved that entrance door down one, everybody who walked in that expo would have saw the chill lounge.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that would have been a
The
nice,
people who saw the chill lounge were the people who were going to master classes.
So yeah, they would have. Yeah, as they walked by.
That's who saw it, and then they'd boogie because they had to hit the master class.
And
But
then they had the next.
If there would have been a cool, if it, no, it's a stroke mouth, it would have just been cool if everybody kind of had to go past that room before they entered the expo hall. We would have been a lot busier. But on the other hand, now that I say that, I'm glad we weren't any busier because I was there, and Jay was working hard. Jay worked his ass off in there, and he took it very seriously. I was more in the, you know what, we're just gonna go down here and hang out mode.
Underline chill.
Yeah,
But between Jay and Stevie, I think they kept me in line, and I was working pretty hard down there. So
No, it was good. I think what I would probably love to see, and we've had this talk, and it goes back to 2008 Chicagoland. I think the thing that always sticks out, and I'm referring to a Mobile Beat Chicagoland that I attended where I first met Brian, and there was maybe 250, 300 people there.
Yeah.
I think there was.
And at the end of the show, everyone that attended seemed to be staying in the same hotel as everyone that was exhibiting. So you would come downstairs to go to the bar, and you would get all the guys that you had talked to during the day coming over to you. And by the end of the night, it's one big party of exhibitors and participants, and it's never like that at shows.
it kind of set a precedent for what we tried to do at Riviera, I think, after that.
I think it absolutely did, and that's my point.
Yeah.
I almost think the chill room concept would be, that room between rooms at the Tropicana where it's really well lit and everyone's sitting and they're sort of networking. I almost think the chill room could work in a room like that, where in this corner, this is the mix corner. So throughout the day, DJ is going to come in and do some mix stuff like present or talk. This is the beanbag corner over here where you literally just relax. Then over here, it's marketing. And over here, it's, meet a DJ. And over here, it could be like, you and I giving autographs or whatever, whatever John sees fit. But you could take the concept of what we had there and amp it up. And I think it was well.
It was so intimate the way it was, and
No,
what I really
same thing, but even just a little bit. I'm not asking 100 by 100.
yeah.
Just enough where maybe there's a little more interaction.
What I really appreciated about what I appreciated about the chill room was the intimacy, and I also was really thankful. To my knowledge, nobody came in there and expected to crank up the music and do the look at me show. And that's what I was afraid of.
I
because
was.
every time that I've attempted to, I guess, put something together where people can actually play in Vegas or wherever it happens to be, I'm thinking it's going to be a chill environment. Everybody wants to crank it to 11 and scream, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, let's party. And that didn't happen. And I'm
It was
thankful for
chill.
that. The chill vibe was kept. It wasn't altered at all.
You know what? Credit, let's be honest, and I'm not saying this in the wrong way. Credit to you, me, John, and a couple other DJs that brought music. Nobody went for that, YMCA style craziness. It was real. Like, you brought some really deep dive tracks. I brought chill. I mean,
Yep.
from 07.
You brought a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
but,
did.
Like, collectively, it was chill. Like, we weren't trying to set a precedent. Like, I didn't throw Pantera on and go, hey, everyone, relax.
Well, what John initially, his vision for this was to just have people go in there and play the obscure track that maybe they
That would have
wouldn't.
been awesome.
Yeah. And that happened to an extent. Remember that was it Tony who came in the last day?
Yeah, Tony Fernandez.
He was playing some crazy cool
with the
stuff.
remixes.
Yeah.
Dude, they were awesome.
It was like Led Zeppelin crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, with like Jamiroquai or something.
Yeah, right. They're really good. I'd never heard him before.
No, neither had I.
That was fun.
I'd never heard anything he played. And they were all, I want to say block and tackle or block and something. I don't even know.
They were
I've got
good.
them, so I'll look them up. But yeah, stuff like that. That's the beauty of these shows where you learn. And I think that, when people say, is it worth the money? It's always worth the money if you learn. And even if all you learn is this much. And I saw Dave Chenair, and I said the same thing to him. I had a DJ text me 2 days ago. He was at a wedding, and I had told him welcome to Brian and Blanca's wedding reception that Dave had told me from Marbecca.
Yeah.
And I said, give me a little nugget. This DJ who was anti-Marbecca, anti being involved, texted me 2 days ago, said, you were right, I was wrong, and I'm man enough to admit it. I did what you said, and the entire room erupted. That's never happened in 18 years of being a DJ. And I'm like, wow. I told you. But I picked that up through the context of these shows. And that's what's so essential. And that's what I love about the shows.
Yeah.
And after the show ends, that's what I miss about the DJs. Because I know so many DJs and I don't get an opportunity to get out of them what they know that I don't know. Mm-hmm. I just want to be a great DJ. And I can't be great if I don't learn and get better.
Yeah.
Who was that couple from Boston who came in?
John and Kim.
Karen, they came. They were really sweet.
Boston John. I was drinking. Was having cocktails, so I'm not sure.
Cocktails.
They were awesome.
They came in and they're like, here, we brought some things you might like. And they brought all this yacht rock stuff that they popped in there. That was fun.
That was awesome.
We did all kinds. You know what I missed the most really at this show? John Young. Because he was a busy bee.
10 seconds. He was too busy.
We were running. We were running.
I saw
John wasn't even being John. John was just like this actor playing John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last day I saw him
too busy
downstairs. He had a suitcase. I'm like, oh, hey, John, how's it going? Everything's cool upstairs. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, we're just getting our bags. We just checked out. I'm like, wait, I haven't even started the day yet. I'm just like getting a drink. And it's like, nope, I'm getting ready to leave. Yeah, like he was in hustle mode. Yeah.
Well,
hustle mode.
By
the way, just real quick, for those of you that might be wondering, if you go to South Point and you go to the Redwood Room and you have an event in there, the lock doesn't work.
Bring a chain and padlock with you to go around the freaking handles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Goosh. What is going on here?
The door won't lock. We finally get somebody come up there and lock it, and they lock it. Like, okay, it's cool. We're like, all right, great. We get ready to walk away. Ken Heath grabs it and just pulls it open. He's like, it's broke.
Well,
yeah, we know. It's like, well, can you call maintenance? Well, they don't listen to us. I swear to God, that's what. Were you there, John?
I was there. No, I did not know.
No, that's what he said.
That's exactly what he said.
I did not hear that. Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, Robert Lindquist was there, and he's like, we got to work something out, guys. And they're like, I tell you what, it's on us. we got security here all night. They're going to watch it. And Jay looked at me. He's like, what do you think? I'm like, it's on them. So I'm not hauling this crap back to the room.
Oh my gosh. I did not. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was well attended.
We can talk about this now, but you could have gotten into that room anytime and just stole everything if you were a jerk.
It'll be fixed by next year, but had you wanted everything, there for the taking.
Are you sure it wasn't just Ken Heath and his Kool-Aid Man physique that just...
Yeah.
I did it. I did it with Superman arm. So
yeah. Well, and Ken was real intimidating the day in his Kool-Aid outfit that he fell asleep on 2 chairs at like 11 in the morning. The poor guy was so exhausted.
Oh, we had a thing that Ken had a blank name tag on his belt.
Oh, no.
And I was like, he's got the Kool-Aid costume on. I'm like, you got to get a Sharpie and put your name down as Jim Jones from Jonestown and just see how many people get the joke.
Oh, my goodness. Talk about it.
And he finally did it on the 3rd day. I don't know who got the joke, though.
Politically incorrect there.
Oh, I'm from Richmond, Indiana. I can say things like this. But
yeah, the rest of us can't.
That's Brian Red at gjntv.com for all.
Yeah, send your thoughts to. So guys, what I wanted to kind of in this last part, some of the questions, some of the discussions, let's kind of share a little bit for the people who are out there to give them kind of a feel of what type of topics and such were kind of touched in your discussions and questions.
Well, for me, it was a lot of Ape Labs demonstrations.
Sure.
I mean, Jay will tell you that.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. Every time I turned around, somebody wanted me to show them these lights. And usually the way it worked they would come in, they would just pick them up and start looking at them. And I would have to get up and say, do you got any questions? And then this would turn into, I don't know, a 15, 20-minute thing,
right,
usually with most people who came into the room. But there was this very steady stream of that. The other thing that people talked to me about, we talked about music. We talked about volumes. That's something that I'd actually mentioned in my presentation, where sometimes I feel like we're chasing people out of the room with our volumes and we don't even realize it. And I talked about a personal experience I had with that, but that was something that spun from a conversation that I had in the show lounge, because that wasn't anything I wrote down, that was improvised. And so a lot of people were actually asking me about cars. So, oddly enough, that little thing you put in the bio, talk life, cars, music, whatever. Some people actually brought cars up and wanted to know about the car or share their stories of cars with me. So we talked about all kinds of things.
Excellent.
But the conversations that were happening in the room, we weren't leading everything. There were people that were just doing things and sitting down and powwowing. So,
excellent.
There are all kinds of people in there too.
Yeah.
It was neat. I was running around doing something, and there was at the table, I don't know who one guy I don't know, Scott Carroll, Mike Sanchez, and my daughter talked for like an hour, and I have no idea what they talked about. They talked for an hour. I was doing other things. So
fun.
What did you tell people in there, Jay?
It's funny. It was a combination, and let me set this up, and this is probably scary to Brian and maybe even to John. My impression of the chill rooms kind of came a little late in the game. I envisioned it the Brunswick room with the staging, and I honestly thought we would get in at 9 with a microphone and start talking until like 6. And I didn't even have a fear of that. I was like, yeah, I can do that. I can talk for 8 hours straight.
He's like, where's the stage? I'm like, what are you talking about?
When he walked in, I'm like, where's the mics? He goes, for what? I go, we're going to be leading all these discussions. I need a mic. He's like, no, I don't think so. Well, and side note, for those of you that did make the chill room, if you came on Monday, you saw the cool setup with the tables. If you came on Tuesday, what you don't know that I'm going to give a behind-the-scenes secret. We walked in Tuesday morning, and it was
Classroom.
set up in lecture hall.
Podium and all.
Podium, well lit, and about 75 seats. And the first concept was, oh, they set this room for that room. Why don't we just move all the gear? And Brian's like, I'm not moving all the lights and sound. Okay,
Nope.
well then we'll just stay where we are. And can you move the chairs? And it was one of these like cluster deals.
I think we sat around initially. We all kind of sat around waiting for someone to come and do it, and then finally, I was like, you know what? No one's going to come and do this.
Yeah, no, that's
So I started stacking chairs. And then, I don't know who, but somebody went and found a round table somewhere, brought it in the room.
They gave me one down the end. We had the one in the back.
Was it you went and got the round table?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody
Someone
did.
in the hallway. They're like, here, do you want the round table? I'm like, sure, I'll roll it down the hallway.
Like,
You do what you have to.
we're like, well, somebody will show up. In the meantime, I'm like stacking chairs. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm getting rid of this shit. Let's go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Done. Like, we were thinking somebody was going to come with a chair dolly, and
Yeah,
nope.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
That shit sat in the corner the whole time we were there.
Watch the way the ape lights shadow the chair stacks in the corner. Imagine they're people. If this were a wedding.
Yeah, we made it look like a set.
Yeah, or a
Like,
closet.
the
closet,
Carnegie
yeah.
Hall, background.
The back
when you're
room,
doing the
yeah.
stand-up performance for
We
George
were
Carlin.
definitely backstage at that point.
Yeah.
Like, where we keep things. I was fortunate. The majority of people that came in, they knew me or I knew them. So the conversations tended to go from something we knew of each other. They were all DJ centric.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty, thank you, Tony. Thank you, a few other people now that I'm forgetting names. Sorry. There was so much talk about the one thing that never gets talked about at any DJ show, and that would be
Music. Yeah.
We talked about DJs and remixes and stuff that came out in the 70s. And for those of you that have never met the BSR, Brian S. Red, you may not know he has a thing with music. And
Really?
don't wind him up at
Huh?
a show and mention, well, that would be the B-side that Frankie Knuckles produced with Larry Levan at David Mancuso. And out of nowhere, you just hear this in the corner go like, no, it was at the building next to the loft. What, Brian? Like, so it was one of those things. And we had guys that DJ'd in New York, and we had guys that DJ'd in Washington, and we had Chicago people. I mean, it was beautiful. It was those conversations where in your head, you're just smiling because you're like, oh my God, I'm living in the moment. We were talking about the gay hotel residency I used to have and gigs I would do, and guys would come up and be like, I haven't heard this since 54. We used to go to Paradise Garage, and we could carry that conversation on. So it was pretty amazing. Now, at the same time, and I'm not calling him out, but I will mention his name because he came over to me at one point and said, you were talking about a bunch of groups. What was that? It was great to get a Rick Webb in the room, who's a much younger DJ than us.
Right.
So his musical knowledge.
Oh yeah. We're like, what are you guys talking about? We're like, music, dude.
Like, who's this? This is a cool track. I'm like, this is Hall and Oates. But it wasn't, I don't want it to come off like bashing.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I give the kid a lot of respect.
This is a hot song, dude. Yeah.
Who's this? I don't know this track. That's not easy to do in a room full of DJs.
No,
So,
and it's no hate on Rick. Rick was cool.
No.
I liked having him in there,
That
but
was
he
the best
didn't
part.
know.
I sat with Rick and, again, forgetting names, the gentleman from Arkansas, because BSR said, if you go to a region, what song do you play? I.e., if you went to Los Angeles, you're a DJ from Iowa, and you have a wedding in LA next week, what song should you play that will get the crowd going if they're from LA? And we talked about different cities. And I started asking everyone in the room, where are you from? And this one guy's from Arkansas. And I said, oh, I was in Russellville. And he goes, I went to school there. So we had this.
I remember that.
Remember?
Yeah,
This
I
big
remember that.
talk. It was awesome. It shows the beauty of the world we live in is so small, but it also allowed for me to learn stuff. Rick was talking about country music and certain artists that are very North Carolina centric.
Mm-hmm.
He's, I think, originally from Ohio. And I said, oh, for Ohio, I always plays Hang On Sloopy. And he just started laughing. He goes, yeah, you have to. We were talking about Boston. You got to play Standell's Dirty Water and Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline. And it's a great way to not only get the conversation going, but it hits at the heart of what we do. We're not about totems and movers and Ape Lab and Pioneer and anyone else. At the heart of it all, you close your eyes, you put on headphones, and you escape in the music. And I felt that that was probably the best space I've ever been in 18 years of doing shows, that music was celebrated the way it should be. And that's what a lot of what I talk to people for however many hours I was in that room, 24, 36 hours. And we talked music, and it was
fun. It was a lot of fun just to be there. It was a lot of work to be there all the time, but it was fun. And we all brought something home with us.
Yeah. And everyone that came in, and credit to everyone that came in, no one came in empty-handed. No one came in. Well, the one guy that like booted every mix, but outside of that, everyone else came in and brought some. Let me say something to everybody real quick. If you go to a trade show like this and there's DJ gear, here's the etiquette. It's playing music. You say, "Hey, is this your gear?" And someone goes, "Yeah, it's mine. You can jump on." That's my line. "Hey, whose is this?" "It's mine. You can get on it." "Okay, cool, man." Then you do your thing. But if you just walk over and hear a song playing and then decide to mix in another track with it, mix it. Don't have it come in a half beat off. So it's like, and then do it 6 more times, and then have the lady next door at the girls' photo booth expo come running in and go, "Can you turn it down?" I'm like, ugh. And then we all sat quietly like it's not my gear. It's random DJ.
I remember that guy now.
Yeah.
But you know what? I told Stevie when we were going, because she's never been to a show like this. The closest she ever got to this was a meet in Moreno Valley, in like 2000.
Oh, I was there. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. What year was that? 2012?
2012.
And she was tiny,
She's a little kid.
And I'm like, well, here's what's going to happen, Stevie. You're going to meet a lot of people. Everyone's going to be nice.
Yep.
Some people are going to be really weird, and you're going to pretend they're normal and talk to them like they're normal.
Right.
But you're going to know they're weird. And that's just what this is all about. But it didn't get weird. It was all pretty cool up there. It was really nice. It didn't feel weird anyway. It felt good.
It's a show you walk away and say, "I'm proud to say I'm a DJ." And not just, "Look, I'm Calvin Harris, cool." It's, I'm proud to say I do weddings, I do bar mitzvahs, I do corporate, I do whatever. Because we work in an industry with some amazing people. Mm-hmm. And I think the downside is we're always held to this goofy wedding singer standard. And people don't get to know the fact, and I always use him as the example, Brian, but it's true. We have a friend who we met at DJ Expo named Joey Blue. Joey is the first DJ to play Madonna. Joey was a DJ at Studio 54, Cafeteria, and a few other clubs.
Funhouse.
Where?
Funhouse.
New Larry.
That was his main gig in the 70s. Was Funhouse. In the 80s, he went to 54.
Right, but he played Cafeteria too. That's where he played.
I don't remember.
I thought
I know it was Funhouse in 54, but he played several.
But and these are people you meet randomly at shows. I mean, the wealth of knowledge, just the, and again, you're mixing with turntables, with pitch, no master tempo, with live drummers who are off. I use Kool and the Gang, Ladies Night, as the example of what a good live drummer is, how the song starts at 110 and ends at 119. Literally, watch the BPMs climb up. It was a different world, and I think it's always good to learn from that. I don't think you had to be there, but I think there's a lot to be said to learn from it, because if you're a 23-year-old DJ and some 50-year-old DJ talks about an old disco track or a mix, you may have a client at some point who goes, "Ooh, this would be perfect for them." And I mean, it's education. Like I said,
yeah, it was all very, very, very positive. And the people who came in there never cease to amaze me. I mean, the knowledge that you get, and I hope that we're doing this again next year. I hope. Mm-hmm. John. I hope we're doing this again next year.
Yep. That was your cue, John.
That was our plan. I was wondering if there's going to be more of that, but that's our plan. We may be moving it to a different room that's slightly bigger, so that way Jay can hold court.
I like the little room.
I know, but Jay needs his space to hold court, and then there could be some other people who can talk too.
Yeah. Well, I think the fact that it becomes a room at Mobile Beat changes that it's a room at this show. John, Brian, I think we
The
need to do a
intimate
little-
space was a winner.
Yeah,
I
it is, and
believe
that's why you
that.
can't get crazy with it. But just a little bit more space would have been nice, because then we could have had, instead of one table in the room, because that's all we had in a stack of chairs, we can have 2 or 3 tables in a stack of
We
chairs.
had 3 on day 1.
I know, but
they moved
then
it
we
out.
got the stack of chairs,
No, we
which
had
were
have
really
4.
cool.
We had room for 4.
Yeah.
Those big rounds, and that really was a good size.
Yeah, that was.
I think, honestly, it's like putting together somebody's wedding, and I don't know what next year is going to bring, but I'm just thinking, and yeah, we're doing this live. When you have an event where the room's too big, it affects the event.
Oh, for sure.
If you have a room that's a little small, but can hold the people, it feels like more is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes the chill lounge was empty. Sometimes people came in, but it never felt like this big, dark, deep void.
Yeah.
And I think if we turned it into Brunswick,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
No.
that's gonna be
Brunswick would be too big. I agree with you there, but if the room was twice the size for next year, I don't know that wouldn't be a good thing. Because again, you've got to
Maybe.
think the logistics. How many DJs were at this show? 500?
Yeah, between
versus-
a lot up in that photo booth side, which is an interesting dichotomy, that we had our group of DJs, and then you had the DJs who were in the photo
Also
booth
photo
session.
booth.
Yeah, that
Right.
we just had purchased the photo booth thing and were over there. There were a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you look at next year, that number should go up 3 or 4 times, right? 5
it's
times?
also nice to have something that's exclusive or relatively exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
where you walk past, say, you know what, it's a little busy now, I'll come back later.
Yeah.
Instead of, I can go in any time and there's plenty of room. I don't know. There's just something to be said for that. I think
Hold
some
on,
of the
hold on.
coolest.
I'm making a note. Charge admission, split with Brian next showroom. Throw John $20. Good.
I know that. I mean, I met Blanca at a small
Oh.
salsa club that was above a cigar bar, and it reminded me of what
Billy
was that?
Joel song?
Disco. Was it called Disco Fever? The club they were at in Crush Groove, where Shili did like Love Bazaar and all that. It's what it reminded me of, brick walls and shit. And then when that closed down, we moved on to this big space, and it was cool, but not as cool as the little place above the cigar bar. There was just something magical about that small space. And when there were 100 people in that little space, you felt it. It was a party, but when there were 100 people in the big space, it felt a little sparse.
Yeah.
Just an observation
Mhm.
and something to think about.
By the way, to my New York, Boston fans anywhere, or Billy Joel fans, Brian's story of meeting Blanca in a salsa bar above a cigar room, immediately Zanzibar by Billy Joel is now playing in my head. Do you know that song? Yeah. Thank you. Love that track, but it's this whole Latin vibe, and
It was cool. It was real cool. You had to go up these stairs, and it was a little booth, and there was one bar that was just, I mean, people were packed up against it, and the floor was hop, and there was even a balcony overlooking downtown. But it was just this little space. It wasn't very big, and it was good. If that would have been a bigger space, it just wouldn't have felt the same.
but aren't the iconic places always small? Like you get there and you go, this is smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, CBGB's First Avenue, and even First Avenue I thought was
Bottom
bigger.
line
Mhm.
in New York.
It seems big in the movie. It's
Right.
still not tiny in Minneapolis, John, but it felt a little small to me.
Yeah, it almost has an intimate feel there.
Yeah, it's nice, but it feels like you're in a stadium when you're watching Purple Rain.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But you,
That looks
you go to the
huge.
place and it's like, okay, this is a small movie
It's
theater.
like, it's like I can go over there, 3 steps, I'm at the bar, 4 steps, I'm almost at the stage.
Right.
Yeah. And the bathroom is like 6 steps that way.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah.
Jay, have you ever been to First Ave?
No, I have
Wow.
not. It's
Okay.
it's on the bucket list.
It's interesting.
We need to have a Jay Brannan event in Minneapolis. So-
I would welcome it.
At
Yeah,
first,
there aren't many. I'm very lucky and fortunate that I've traveled extensively around the country, but there's a few places, and it's not a long list, and it's key places. I haven't been to Austin, Texas yet. I've been to like Dallas, Fort Worth,
Mhm.
Arlington, El Paso,
Houston?
I think Houston, yeah.
Okay.
Amarillo. I've not been to Austin. I've been through Louisiana. I've not been to New Orleans. But club wise, like First Ave it's a super short list because so many of them are gone now.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, the
First
day
Ave is old school in the regards that it's a repurposed space, and it feels like a repurposed space, which are
they
always
all were.
which is
Like
which
there's no
is
80s
yeah.
clubs
But
that were like
sometimes they
one little
design
club.
them to feel like it's, oh well, we went in and remodeled the whole thing. No, they just took some black paint at First Avenue and said,
And here
okay,
we
there we
are.
go,
In
it's a
the
club,
walls.
Put a
Yeah.
stage over there and let's go.
and that makes it fun to me. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that makes it a lot of fun.
Side note, and again, you know, we're all of that. Let's say we're all north of 40.
Yeah,
Are 20 somethings talking about clubs? Like, are there still iconic clubs to them?
I think it's more like the Vegas thing or the Ibiza thing.
I was going to say festivals. I think almost would be more of a
So they would talk this way about like EDC or Ultra or
Yeah.
Movement or
I think so. I think you'd
Maybe.
hear some.
because even when I was growing up, the clubs in New York that are all gone, long, you know, Area, Twilo, 54, the Loft, Xenon, like there was a ton of clubs. I mean, John Barbados is now where the old CBGB's was. There really aren't that many clubs left. Boston still has Paradise. The Channel burned to the ground, I think.
I don't think there's much in Milwaukee at all. There's still some stuff in
The
Chicago.
Troubadour in LA, the Troubadour is still there. Whiskey Go Go is the whiskey. The Rainbow and Roxy.
Yeah, but those are bars.
Well, they are,
No.
but they're associated with a time in a club. Like Roxy's
Yeah.
a club.
Right.
Rainbow's a bar. Whiskey's
Whiskey's a bar.
no, whiskey's a club.
Yeah, but it's small.
Well, it's very small, but it's that like, the Doors played here or Motley Crue played here. Like I wonder if again, and this goes to another show altogether, but because people aren't as invested in music, like if you didn't pay $10 for the song or the album, do you really care where the band first played? I mean, if you're streaming it off Spotify, do you give a crap where they originated, or
Well,
do you? And I'm just out of touch with that.
I always had this concept in my head, being a DJ, that the worst place to meet a girl was at a club, and it was usually, with my experience,
while you
the
were
worst
working?
place. Well, either way, it didn't matter whether I was working or whether I was attending, because I did both frequently through my 30s. That was the worst place to meet someone, and that's where I met her. It was just a weirdo thing, but it's the social structure is so different today that if I was 20 years old, I wouldn't have to go to a place like a club to meet anybody. I could go on a Facebook group or something. There's apps for that.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. And music discovery is different too, because you can just do that online. But there's something about just going out, making the effort to leave the house and going someplace
Putting
and
pants
being
on.
social and meeting people and networking with real live folks. I mean, my rule was always this. I mean, and I'm going way off topic here, but when I would introduce somebody to nightlife, and it happened a lot because a lot of people that I knew.
Is that an app?
Yeah, it's an app. When I would introduce people to just like the concept of going out and being social, a lot of guys would go, I'm going to talk to this girl. This girl's like, no. Talk to everybody. Don't narrow it down to just the girls. Go talk to those guys over there. Figure out who they are and who they know. And you're eventually going to meet the girl eventually.
Yeah.
But talk to everybody. Befriend everyone, because you never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
That was the way to do it. But today, there's just not how it's the social structure is different. The music business is different. Music discovery is different. Fashion's different. Everything's different. So I don't think that it works anymore.
I don't want to beat that horse, but it was just more a thought of there are still things that are iconic. That's why I said, like, I need to get to Austin to see that strip. First time I went to Nashville was probably 78 and went to the Ryman, went to the Grand Ole Opry, went to the places that were important, went to Gruhn's Guitars and played a 60 Les Paul Custom or Standard that today would cost, I don't know, $300,000.
Ooh.
And, you know, it's that tangible within life that becomes such a great memory. And to bring it full circle, it goes back to sitting in a dark room with some lights doing a pattern and the memory of hearing a song and going, oh, this really brings back. I had that Frankie Knuckles Donna Summer remix. I probably played it 10 times. And every time I did, the people I played it for were like, oh. Then I played the Larry Levan remix with Inner Life with Jocelyn Brown.
Do you know
Mountain High Enough? People were like, whoa.
Do you know the track 18 Strings by Tin Man? It's really hot, and I'll tell you that I've only been to First Avenue 3 times in my life. I heard that track one time being performed anywhere in public. 18 Strings by Tin Man, and it was at First Avenue, and I play that track to this day. It's that kind of place. And by the way, for those of you who are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, look up Tin Man 18 Strings, spelled 18, not 18, but spell out 18 Strings. And I think you'll like it. It works sometimes even at mobile events.
I'm gonna try that.
It's basically the reason I didn't hear it after that is because they had it on a promo and they were playing the video, but I think Nirvana sued them because they completely ripped off "Smells Like Teen Spirit." But it's very good.
Yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah,
say that now. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen more "Strings of Life" by Derek May.
I
Yeah, it kind of sounds like they might.
Yeah, I could see that. That and the Jimi Hendrix "Foxy Lady" rip in the beginning.
Well, it was a hit in Europe because of whatever their copyright laws are over there. It did well, but here they just couldn't do it.
Right.
At any rate, I mean, talking about hearing tracks, that was a track I heard at First Avenue. I mean, normally you associate, First Avenue with, of course, Prince and things like that, but that was a track that when I think of First Avenue, that's what I think of.
Now, I have to, because I know we're running tight on time, so I need to make a disclaimer. And if it messes things up, I apologize, but I'm scheduled to be DJing on St. Paddy's Day, March 17th, 2 weeks from today.
Tonight, yeah.
At a pool in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Ooh. Gonna have a Corona?
Will they have Corona?
Will you have a?
I think by that point I will have vodka.
Vodka.
Or whiskey, something. No, so I don't know if maybe after my show or something I could remotely call in and catch the last minutes of this, but I didn't want people to start setting their calendars with like, hey, 2 weeks from now.
We get to see Jay again.
We get to see Jay.
Maybe just just take that promo shot of me, just stick that in a corner camera and be like, Jay, what do you think? And then put on like just a nonstop talking rant.
Like an auctioneer or something.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Appreciate that.
Yeah, okay, good take on that, Jay. Wow, didn't realize you voted that way. What? I'm not gonna see you. Is that correct? Will I see John?
No, John won't be.
I haven't completely 100% decided not to do it.
If you go, maybe we can work something out where we could. I'm not taking over DJN TV, but maybe we could work something out on a different time in the two.
Yeah.
If you go and you and I could do something with John together.
Exactly.
Yeah. If we do best of broadcast.
We can have some fun with it. And we'll see what. There's a lot of things that could change between now and then, but we'll put something together so we can have some fun with that. So
yeah,
it's 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern, and Jay is just about ready for supper out on the West Coast. So hey,
yeah, it's just barely 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's about
minute after.
Sun's just going
enjoy
down.
His carrot sticks.
So
celery and other rabbit food.
Time not to steal Bun's food. Rabbit. Sorry.
You haven't seen the rabbit yet, have you, John?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I gotta. He's around. He's not nearby enough to go get him. But
he like runs around the house like a cat.
Oh, okay.
It's really cute.
Oh yeah, he's adorable.
Yeah, I've met Bun.
Yeah,
yes,
nice.
Bun is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Bun. And it's a live pic. It's the first live picture I ever took when I got the first iPhone that you could do live photos.
Like the
which
live,
this one's not doing. Why isn't it doing live photos? Oh, there he is running around. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bun Bun just kind of does what Bun Bun does.
That's kind of
Yeah.
We've got a Jade in the house, and she's that way. It's fuzzy little French Angora bunny, I believe it is, and
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
A
they're just
dwarf head, a dwarf lion head.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
they've got this
He
huge,
is
huge.
the ruler of the home, and but as a plant-based individual, as I've been for a while now, a few times I have gone to the fridge to make food and been told by my beautiful wife, "No, that's for the rabbit." I'm like,
Oh.
shit, sorry.
Well, thank you guys for being with us tonight here on Facebook and
here.
YouTube. We're gonna let Jay go and feed his bunny and
Or himself.
or himself. Whichever.
Or, yeah.
We'll take a look at that. So, this is pretty much wrapping it up for shows for this week. We'll be back next week with the full schedule and such as we get ready for the next event coming up here in Las Vegas in 2 weeks. You can go get more information on that, mobilebeatlasvegas.com. Otherwise, have yourself a great evening, and we'll catch you next week. Good night.